Hello friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel. It is Jill here. I am an author, artist, and creative entrepreneur, and I'm here on YouTube sharing with you guys the process of starting my creative business. So I am 5 months in now that it's June, so I'm still in the very early phases of things. And for a very long time, I had been doing weekly Wins Wednesday videos in which I would read from a little notebook that I have in which I keep track of my daily small wins. And this was basically to keep not only myself motivated, but to motivate anyone out there who might be in the same position that I am, starting a brand new business and just needing to stay motivated and stay positive. However, the last couple weeks I've been traveling a bit, and there was something about just like reading these small wins out of the notebook on camera that just I wasn't connecting with it anymore. I am still keeping up the notebook, but I felt like it was just getting a little repetitive because I would say things like, oh, I got a new follower on YouTube today, or I finished a drawing. And it was just basic stuff that, like I said, was starting to sound a little lather, rinse, repeat. So even though it's still important for me to keep that up, I wanted to see if I could come up with something a little better to share with you guys, especially if I'm going to try and continue this weekly series, although I'm still not sure. It might not be weekly anymore. It might become a little more just not on a strict schedule, and then I'd rename it. It wouldn't be Weekly Wins Wednesday anymore. But anyway, I digress. I did want to share this week that May 31st for me marked 2 full years out of my corporate job. I had sent in my notice of resignation on May 23rd, 2024, and basically I had a 17-year career arc, all with one company, almost straight out of college, and then until I was 40 years old. And those people at my job were at one point in time my second family, and I have a lot of great memories, but things ended really not well and broke my heart. And it's been a lot to work through, overcome, get past, etc., etc. And in truth, I am still healing from a lot of the things that happened there, especially in the latter few years. There's still, I'm realizing that some of those emotions are still alive and well in my body, and that I'm still processing through them. But be that as it may, I not only was talking to, friends, family, loved ones, and also my business coach as recently as I just talked to her yesterday. And so I wanted to share with you guys a little bit about my personal experience as far as getting out of corporate and into something else. So should you ever be in a position where you're lucky enough, or just maybe not lucky is the word, maybe if you're just forced to give up your career because it's choking the life out of you. First of all, I feel you. That was exactly the position I was in. I don't know if you're familiar with the 12 phases of burnout. And I was basically at phase 11. Phase 12 would have been hospitalization. That's how bad it was for me at the time that I decided to resign. And I count my blessings every day that I disconnected from a situation that was just growing more and more toxic by the week. So I do give myself a lot of credit for being brave enough to lay down the gauntlet on something that meant so much to me, something that had taken up so much of my life. And really, I became the person that I was because of that career. It was foundational to my adult life. And even though things ended in a way that hurt, I certainly don't discount the impact that the people and the job had on my life in the positive sense. So I have been able to parse out a lot of these emotions over 2 years. The other thing is I was able to just become more myself again. It was almost like once I got rid of that job title and I let go of my identity of that job title, those two things have become so closely intertwined that for a long time, I felt like I didn't even know who I was anymore. So I will warn you, if you go through a major job resignation, it is almost expected that you will feel somewhat lost and like you don't know yourself. And what it is it's losing a chunk of your identity. And for me, that was a huge, huge chunk, considering how many years I'd racked up there. The fortunate thing is I have reconnected with new parts of myself and old parts of myself, if that makes sense. I just I rediscovered my love for creativity. writing, drawing, just in general doing crafty things and making more time in my life for something that brings me joy and is so important. I've also had the time to lean into some self-care, not to the point that it's detracting from my life and taking up too much time. I just mean, I don't fault myself for taking a nap if I'm tired. I don't fault myself for just having a day, like a weekend day, in which I don't like accomplish that much. It's like, if I make the bed and wash the dishes and take care of my pets and make dinner, like that's enough for a Sunday once in a while. And I used to feel like, my career made me feel like I had to be on every day. Like I had to answer every text, every email, every phone call almost immediately, or else I could possibly face consequences. And so my nervous system was incredibly fried from that experience, from that aspect of my job. And so it caused me to just be hyper vigilant, is that the right word, with just everything that I did in my life for a very, very, very long time. And that even included how I would spend my time on weekends. I literally still struggle with the feeling that if I'm taking rest, then I could either face consequences, or just something will get forgotten, not done on time, somebody will get angry with me, or that I'm simply just not living the day to my fullest potential for it. When in fact, the reverse is true. If you give your body rest, if you gift yourself rest, you will have more energy, more drive, more creativity, and more brain power to actually move forward with those things that matter to you after you've had the time to rest. So that was another big lesson for me. And again, it's one I'm still embracing and learning as I move forward. Also, because I jumped right from my career into the publishing industry, I definitely learned so much by having something that, because I'd always been interested in writing and publishing, but the freedom that I got from quitting my job allowed me to actually go to some conventions and see the industry from the inside, which was a fantastic opportunity. So you never know, like, what opportunities are going to come your way once you're literally opened back up, when you have the time and the space in your life. And you're no longer adhered to, like I said, for me, it was that job title. It was like, once I let that go, I was able to just become a person again and not the woman listed on my business card. So not only did I have the privilege to learn a new industry and take my time to liaise into that and decide how I wanted to move that forward, I also spent a lot of time doing self-guided learning, and that was with how to form a business, how to publish on Amazon, and I'm not saying I didn't have help with this. I've had coaches all the way through my journey post-corporate, which has been a blessing. So I also am a big advocate for, if you're trying to rebuild yourself, get some help, whether that's a therapist or an actual business coach, or just a mentor, a tutor for something, or something that you want to get into that sparks your joy and creativity and puts the life force back into you. Absolutely invest in yourself and invest in the help that you need and the courses you need, whatever it may be, to give your next dream the breathing space that it needs, to give it the life that it needs. And be open to learning. Read books about what you're trying to understand. Watch YouTube tutorials. Sign up for, what's that website called? Gosh, I apologize. I will look it up and link it, because there is a website that people always, like creatives always advocate for, and it's like basically like these online courses that are a little step above YouTube because they're more organized and curated, and you're paying for the membership. But anyway, I did invest in learning as well, and that's why after about a year and a half, I finally felt really ready, and I said, okay, I've self-published 2 books. That was a huge learning curve. Everything that led up to those publications was a huge learning curve. And now I'm on the learning curve of actually operating and running a business, and I'm going to be designing my first products ever this month. It took me, I will admit, I was shocked how long it took for me to get into a flow once I really decided how to approach my business this January, because it's been 5 months, and it went from trying to make little YouTube videos every day, and that was the only thing that I was really doing, and then gradually I was able to make to-do lists. I was able to get back into my creative writing because I had writer's block for quite a while. It was almost like, oh, I have the time for this now? Great, my brain shut down. there's a bit more to it to that, but anyway. And I've been getting my drawing hand back, and just as recently as like this week, when I decided, okay, this is where I'm really going to start focusing the majority of my time on my art and my drawings, I have found a lot of joy in it again, and I'm super excited that I'm finally in that flow. And when I talked to my business coach yesterday and updated her on everything, she's like, Jill, you're in a workflow again. And so that's kind of crazy to me, because I felt being organized is part of who I am as a person. And so when I left my job behind, I almost felt like I was thrown into chaos, because I was trying so much harder all of a sudden to give myself purpose, meaning, and structure beyond just like housewife stuff. And so this calendar year, finally, I started feeling that again, because I can make to-do lists for my work that make sense. And as far as what's ahead, and again, just sharing this with you guys because I'm still at the beginning of this learning curve of operating a creative business. I still am worried about marketing. Again, that's something I'm going to have to learn and really dig into beyond, social media marketing here on YouTube and on Instagram. So yeah, a big concern for me right now is finding the audience and getting illustrations done and creating products. And so the illustrations are nothing new, but the other stuff is. So it's all part of that workflow I was talking about. But yeah, it's like, I basically want to say, if I can get there, you can get there. And if I can do it, you can do it. And there are plenty of people here on YouTube who are so much further along than I am, and I watch them every day for inspiration. So that's another big takeaway, like stay inspired, because there's a ton of inspiration out there for whatever it is that you want to do. And trying to think if I have any final notes on this before I sign off for this monologue for Weekly Wins Wednesday. But yeah, overall, I hope you guys stick with me, because I'm going to be sharing the whole process as I liaise into more new stuff and continue with artwork. I think art is going to be a much larger focus for my channel moving forward, because I'm going to just be doing more of it. And yeah, and even here creating videos, it's like I'm learning as I go along, and sometimes it feels like throwing spaghetti at the wall. But I do have faith that something's going to stick eventually, and then things will build as they've been building, as things have been growing. So yeah, again, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here, and stay motivated, stay inspired, believe in yourselves, because I believe in you, and I will see you the next time. Thanks again, everyone.